Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to see how we can make a simple brick floor for our 2D game. So this is going to be a 2D tutorial, and the way we're going to do this is by using Photoshop. So you can go ahead and open up Photoshop. If you don't know how to do, if you don't have that, then download it through the Adobe Creative Cloud. That shouldn't be a hard thing. So we're going to be using Photoshop for this tutorial anyway. Now what we do is first thing, once Photoshop is open, is we go to our file and select new. So it brings up a dialog box which asks us for the size of our canvas. Rather than choose the default size, which is 7 by 5, 7 by 5 inches, I've made a custom size which is 32 by 32 pixels. So you should set this up and change this from inches to pixels, then click on create. So it's going to bring out a really small box over here. It's going to bring out a really small box, which is halfway what we want, because I want this to be a bit lengthy. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the width. So let's go into image, left click this, go to canvas size, and under this I'm going to go to the width and make this 6. Yeah, so do something like that, and then I'm going to hit Control and click on this new layer. So it brings up another layer, so I'm going to hide this because we won't be needing that. Now hit on Alt and use your middle mouse button to scroll to zoom in so that we can see this a bit clearly. Now this is what we have. So the next thing to do now would be to find our brush tool, which is this. So while right clicking it, it brings out these tools which we'll be needing, and then I'm going to left click on my brush, on my pencil tool rather, because if you click on the brush it's going to be really mostly round, and so we're going to be choosing the pencil tool. So with this little box, and for scaling up and down the brush or pencil tool, we can use those squarely brackets in our computer. So this is the one on the left will be for reducing the size, and the one on the right will be to increase it. So I'm doing that right now. You can go ahead and test that out, but that's not our main problem for today. So what we do now is we start designing our bricks, and bricks are made up of mostly orange and red color. So I already have that set up here. You can see I have a couple of orange colors up here, so I'm going to be selecting from one of them. So let's select this brownish orange looking color. Again, this is art. It's about creativity. It doesn't require there is no written pattern to designing this. This is just one form of it. There may be multiple forms which you can learn from, but this is a really quick way and I find it to be effective. So let's, with that color selected, let's start painting. So we can paint the top up to here, and then we can swap the color to something a bit down, something darker, almost black. It's right about there, and I can paint this side. So with this done, I can go ahead and create a new layer. Okay, so for this layer I'm going to hit on my G key to bring up the gradient. I'm going to select a color, something like this. Let's bring it down so it's behind somewhat orange, dark orange looking color, so look for that. Yeah, so I think this is it. So you can copy this value and paste it on your Photoshop hexadecimal value spot, so that should be okay. Now with this all done, I can go back to my pen tool by hitting my B key and shrink this down a bit. So what we do now is we combine these colors in the midst of this, so it looks like a brick which has it doesn't really have one color when you are looking at the brick, so it's reddish, yellowish, and also maybe a bit brown. Anyway, so we'll be mixing colors which are similar to this in a way. So we can come here, left click, and then go up. So this will be my first color. I don't want this to be very visible, so I'll reduce the opacity to something about 70 right there. So we can paint this now at random places. Just find the place you want and left click around there. So this should be okay. Next would be to find another color a bit darker than this. So let's go up to a warm side and select something like that. Let's reduce this one to about 50. And then we can paint the sides. Besides this previous color, so something like that. Just follow it around. It can also be random, it doesn't have to be fixed, so just try and make it known around. So about there should be okay. We find another color, so I'm going to go up to around the red side, right about there, a bit dark red, looking like maroon. Let's select this and reduce this further to about 40. Yeah, so that should do. Let's paint this. Yep. So this is looking much cleaner. It doesn't have to be clean because it's art, but it's looking good for me. So let's call that clean. And finally, find another dark orange color about there. Just paint this randomly. You can see it's really faint. Just put it at random positions just to fill in the brick. It's maybe like the sand and the combination of stuff to give you the mortar or something like that. Anyway, this should do. Yeah, not too bad, not too good either. So what we do next is to increase the canvas size. But before we do that, let's merge the layer. So make sure you have this clicked and also this. So you shift and then you right click, left click rather. So you hold shift and left click, and then you right click on the two of them and then select merge layers. So it's now one. So we go back to our image tab up here and select the canvas size. So now we increase this from 0.5, let's set it to 0.9, and this let's set it to something like 0.6. See if this will be enough. No, it's not enough, so let's make this bigger. Let's select something like, let's give it 1 here, maybe 2 here. So this should do. Now let's zoom in with Alt and our mouse wheel, and then hit V key to select our move tool. So this should be it, and then we can drag this over here. Make sure it's at the edge. So we can hold Shift and Alt and then left click this and drag this so it makes a duplicate. Hold Shift Alt, drag this to make another duplicate, add another one to fill in this canvas, and so we bring another one up. So Shift Alt, let's undo this, let's select this, make sure only one is selected. So Shift Alt, drag this up, so let's put this somewhere in between at the middle lattice. Skip this here, Shift Alt, drag this out, Shift Alt again. Let's make sure we fill our screen. So this is looking much better, and I have a ton of copies here, but we're not going to be using any of this. What we do is we define this pattern, so we can go up here to our image or to edit. So go into edit, then hit the define pattern, and then we can give this a name. So let's say maybe like brick. So let's set this okay. So to test if this is actually working, what we do is we left click on our file, hit new, and now we can select default Photoshop size or any other custom canvas which you want, but make sure it's just big enough to be seen or be visible, and then create this. So now we can go up here to our rectangular tool and then find a spot down here which the floor is going to be around, and then we can drag this to somewhat fill the screen. Hit G to choose our gradient, our paint bucket tool rather, and then go into the foreground, go up here and change this from foreground to pattern. So we can left click this and select this pattern which we designed. So that will be okay. Then when we click on this, you can see that there is a brick floor over here. So this is just a simple way which you can make this floor 2D looking floor using Photoshop, and you can see it's not that neat, but it's good enough. You can try as much as possible to make yours clean. I rushed this, so there is a bit of error up and above, so try to make that as smooth as possible. Now with this done, you can go ahead and export this. So let's make this on a new layer. It's by hitting Ctrl and selecting that, and then select this rectangular tool all over again. Drag this across the empty layer and hit the G key to find the pattern. Select this marked layer, the one that is visible, and then let's click this to create our floor. So this looks nice. Hit Ctrl D to deselect. So with this done, let's go ahead and save this and export this into Unity. So let's go into File. Let's go into Save As. let's locate our file inside of Unity. That would be over here. So let's go into assets, select this, and then name this floor. So this should do. So we can head back into Unity now and see what it looks like. So you can see it's over here, it's clean the way it's supposed to be. If this doesn't work for you, then it's probably because you have at your edit to project settings, and then under this editor you can change this mode from 3D. So if you've been opening projects using the 3D version of Unity or using the 3D mode, need to swap this to 2D so that it understands the behavior of the game object which the engine is working with, and this should be just fine. So now with this saved here, you can see it has already made a space for my floor, so I can go ahead, I can drag this now onto my scene, and you can see it creates a sprite for me just like that. So let's reset this, and you can see I have a floor for my game. Don't mind the skybox, this is still 3D, but then in due time we'll work on creating the ones for 2D rather than use this 3D. But with this, it's actually looking nice, not that bad. So this is a very quick and easy tutorial which you can follow to make your own floor sprites using Photoshop for your Unity game project. So with this, we've come to the end of our video, or for today's video rather. So if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you will, and what else? Let's see. Make sure you watch my other videos to get a better understanding of Unity. And with that said, I hope I see you in my next video.